Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. It's March 23rd. My name is Keely. I'm excited to be here as your host today. Our quote of the day today is success begins with a state of mind. If you want success, start thinking of yourself as a success. We've got our dates for leadership retreat. We're going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, August 20th through the 24th. In order to go to Leaders Retreat, you need to be 1-star, 3-star, or 5-star. So do whatever you need to do to make that happen. We've got our Founders Live every Monday, with the exception of yesterday. And that is at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Every Monday, we've got our Founders Live, and that's our opportunity to connect with Bob Snyder, our CEO, on a weekly basis to hear any important announcements the company might have, go over some recognition, the story of the week, as well as some great training. So do tune in to the Founders Live. That's found on the Facebook page, Renatus Founders Live. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., we have our national study groups. That's happening right now. We're going through the essentials courses, and definitely a powerful way to get your new students involved and get them, more motivated to go through their classes. And then we have our Renatus Helios app. This is a great tool. It's got some really great features, and what I love is they're continually updating it and just adding more and more value to it. Currently, if you're a part of that, make sure to give it 5 stars. What I love about it is you get notified whenever a commission comes in, and you also get notified whenever a guest is checked into an event. So there's a lot of great features there. We've got a daily Money Mastery, a brand new one uploaded to the app each and every day. And then as well as that, we've got access to our courses, as well as we can do any live streams through the app as well. So lots of great features there. Make sure to get that downloaded if you haven't yet. Every week on Thursday at 6 p.m., we have our Private Capital Masterclass. Dane Clark is the one facilitating that, and he has had so much success with what he's learned from his private capital classes and applying that information to build capital for his business. And he is over at least $22 million that he's raised from investors to go towards various transactions. So he's the one facilitating that. Make sure you're watching your classes, of course, and then bring questions and start to have those conversations. And it's just a great way to mastermind around private capital. And then every day, Monday through Friday, we've got our Dream Call. Daily Real Estate Action Mastermind is what that stands for. That starts at 9 o'clock. So directly after this call, we usually go till about 10 o'clock. We talk all things real estate investing. And then we've got our team call that we're on right now. It's Monday through Friday from 8 to 9. And we talk about mindset, personal development, and marketing. OES.com. There's a short video there that Michael Huggins put together. It talks about what the OES is, the optional event subscription, how that helps out the teams, and how that helps out your business as well. So make sure to check out that video. And if you are interested in signing up for the OES for Elevate, you can do so through that website as well. If you're looking to introduce any guests to the Profits Education, a great way to do that is to get them in front of Scott Rowe. Scott Rowe does a Profits intro every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. You can find that in the Helios calendar. Just type in Profits and you'll see that on Tuesdays. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have a virtual house tour, and these are really, really powerful exposures for your guests. So make sure that you're building for these every single week and getting people in front of this information. They do a short presentation at the end, just going over a couple of additional transactions on top of the one that they're actually touring. And then they go over all the numbers, of course, and your guests are exposed to all kinds of different acquisition strategies, exit strategies, and all the different courses that go into one deal. So it's really, really powerful. Whether you're a guest or a student, it's important to be there every week. And then on Thursdays, we have our Super Bowl of events. We've got a lot going on Thursday nights. So we have another house tour on Thursday nights, and this one is offered in Spanish. So Wednesdays it's in English, Thursdays in Spanish at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We also have our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation. Bill Predebon has been doing a fantastic job at presenting the Renatus education. So make sure that you're building for that as well. And then at 4 p.m., we also have a corporate onboarding. So if you've got new people who've just recently gotten started, that's a great way to get them onboarded. And then We have a velocity banking study group that's at 7 p.m. and then our multifamily and short-term rental study groups both at 7 p.m. So you do get to kind of pick and choose which you want to go to depending on your goals and where you're at with your business. We do record these calls. We are on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. Our Facebook page has a lot of great content there. You can network with other students, support other students, and you can catch these recordings, and there's a lot of important announcements there. So make sure you're a part of the Renatus Team Elevate private Facebook page. And then our YouTube channel has years and years and years worth of these recordings on there, and so much value. I love these morning calls. Our trainers are absolutely amazing. And so there's tons of value on that YouTube channel. Plus there is an entire playlist of Zoom up calls. The Zoom up calls ended about a week ago, but we have over 100 interviews of different students where they talk about where they were before Renatus, why they got started, and what they've been able to accomplish since. And those are only about 20 minutes. So do check out the Zoom up playlist on the Elevate Renatus YouTube channel and send it out to your guests. Really powerful stories there. So today is Takeoff Tuesday. We get to learn from Bill Predebon. Before we bring out Bill, we will do our money mastery exercise. So let's shift over to that. That'll just take us a few minutes. At the end of the exercise, there is a call to action. So we'll spend a few minutes typing in the chat or writing down on your notepad your thoughts on the call to action question. Since I'm doing this from my phone, let's get that going.
Yay. What's up?
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
Don't you guys all think that Keely always looks amazing in the morning? Like the rest of us, like we just don't look good, and then Keely just always looks good. So I don't know what it is. She must get up at like 6 a.m. and like prepare. No, I'm just kidding. It's all natural. She's awesome. Keely, thank you for that awesome intro. Thanks for doing all this stuff. Thanks for all the amazing things you're doing for this community, and just, I don't know, just bring a lot of light and a lot of hope and a lot of I don't know, just like confidence to the team. So I just really appreciate it, and I know everybody else does, and I know everybody else loves you. So we just think the world of you, and I'm proud of you. Awesome. Frank is yawning at work. That's all right, Frank. I'm at work right now too, and I'm yawning. So no worries. All right. Yeah. All right, here we go. So let's see. I didn't see much chat on the, all right, Tim's working out in his Spartan shirt. I did not get up and work out today. In fact, I'm going to walk my dogs after the, the training because it's too cold out. I think it's like 60. Okay. This is gonna be fun. I got some things for you. So I didn't see much on the chat on Woody's little money matrix. Does anybody want to come off mute and come out and share with us their thoughts on how they determined or decided to be an entrepreneur, or how they acquired the skill set to be an entrepreneur? Bueller. Would anybody like to share did anybody write anything down and share their thoughts?
Sure, I'll go ahead and start.
Well, I love it, Steve. Bring it on, brother.
Yeah, so for me, I grew up watching my parents always navigating through businesses, whether it was having a restaurant and doing other things. I think that's where I picked up the skills, but I didn't know then what I was learning, what I can look back now and see where I picked it up. And but clearly, I remember when I was going through college, I paid my way to school. I was doing multiple jobs, and when I was getting ready to go to university, that's when I realized, okay, I don't want to keep doing this for a long time. So I used my savings, and I was doing some network marketing then, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be my tickets out. So I'm gonna use this time I have, all the savings I have. I'm gonna work my butt off and try to make it happen. But the reality hits with network marketing. One day we find out the company went bust, had problem with the SEC, and that set me back. So now I had to go back.
What was your first company, or what was that company?
It was Vima. So it was an energy drink.
Yep.
So what happened And so I remember clearly now I have to go back and figure it all out. So, and I still had to pay for my dorm rooms or whatever. So I remember taking the job. I went to the interview and I took the job simply because I did the math and I saw that it was going to pay the bill. So I did that, and I'm like, all right, so I have to figure this out. And a couple months go by. After 3, 4 months, I'm realized, okay, I took this just so I could pay the bills, but I need to do something different. And Uber came around. I didn't have a car. They had one of those most expensive lease options. I took it. In 3 months doing that, I worked my butt off and then bought a car. And then I went into the journey of started my own phone repair companies because that's when Apple started coming out. And then now people have a new problem. Phones start shattering. So I started repairing phones. But one of the skills I didn't have was understanding that if you're in a business, you have to grow the business by keeping the money that you're making in the business to reinvest in the business. I didn't know that. So I learned that the hard way. And now, fast forward a couple years, I realized, okay, I still need to be able. I didn't have the marketing skills. I didn't learn how to promote my business, but now I believe that through Renatus, I'm able to leverage the profits cost and being able to learn strategic plan as far as how to grow and move forward. So this is where I'm at now. So this is what I need to, as far as like what I need to learn,
So
the new skills.
when, I don't know if you went to nationals or not, but from that, from what you just shared with us, based on this money matrix,
Mm-hmm.
what what can you take away? Like, what's the sticking point to that journey, that story that you just told? Do you know, like, if you were going to share that with a prospect?
Shen, it's funny because even with my origin story, um, how I found Renatus is very different than that story I just shared with you. That story just came out of what I picked up from the Money Matrix as to reflecting back on what Woody asked, where did I pick up the skills from? How did I know I was going to be an entrepreneur? But when it comes to my origin story, that is somewhat very different because fast forward a couple years after that part of my life, I then I walked away from school altogether. And then I started trying to figure my way back into society, getting other jobs. And then how I discovered sales. I knew I had something for it because then I find something that actually drives me. And that's how I even discovered personal development. So it's really the story changes, but that part right there. Now, I wrote my origin story yesterday, which I'll get to record sometimes today. But it is part of the story I can use because it's actually showed struggles, challenges I've been through,
So
and
this is what I heard, Steve. This is what I heard. I heard that your story is awesome, number one, and it's genuine and real. And what I heard in there is it's also similar. There is relatability to this story, and here's what I heard. I heard that you you were working to figure out where your fit is, right?
Mhm.
And in doing so, you do what most people do, and we do it on our own. We take risks by you taking a lease on the Uber car, then we fall back and have a setback, and then we get a job just to pay the bills, and we do the calculations, and then we try something new, and then we buy our own car. But what you said after that was, I really didn't have the education and the knowledge to be able to be a good entrepreneur. That is the story that you can share in a nutshell with individuals, and all of you can, is that I just told this story yesterday, and in the exact same way, is that I was self-taught in real estate. We are all self-taught in entrepreneur. None of us wake up, for the most part. I shouldn't say none. There's probably somebody, and they're probably an intellectual, but none of us wake up and go, I'm going to spend about 20 to 50 grand, and I'm going to go to entrepreneurial school, and I'm going to learn from all the best before I ever try to be an entrepreneur first. and I'm never going to try anything and I'm never going to take any risk. I'm going to learn how to do it. None of us do that. But so all the people that we're talking to are stepping out of their comfort zone, getting into real estate, getting into business, becoming an entrepreneur, and they have the same mindset, the same skill sets that all of us did when we started, which is zero. And so now you can share that and say, listen, do you want to go down this journey and spend 3 or 4 years wasting time and losing money and taking risks? Or would you want to do it the smart way and not do it my way and get right into some education? At least look at the facts first before you make a decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Now
That's how your origin, that is your origin story. And you can share that with folks in a nutshell, and they can see that, hey, maybe education might be a quicker, better, faster, simpler, easier path instead of trying to do it on my own.
Yep. No, I appreciate that. And actually, now that you said it, I'm gonna go back and listen to the recording and extract that story out of it because
Perfect.
I can see the power in it.
Yep. 100%. Because that was a fantastic story. And I was like, wow. And then you were like, yeah, until I got this, all of this other crap. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I can imagine getting into Uber and then like having to pay the biggest lease and having to pay that bill every week. So you have to make your trips enough to pay that bill. And then because they're going to take your car, which is your lifestyle, then you got to go buy your car. Now you got to sign on a dotted line on a car. And if you don't drive, you're not going to get. And I was getting tired thinking about your story. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, until I got the education. Then I was like, oh, and I had a weight lifted off of me when you said you learned how to do it. And then I was like, oh, well, there you go. Does that make sense? Someone might feel the same way.
Definitely. And you know, just the car itself and then the lease was about $500 a week, and in a month the
Yep.
insurance was about $1,000. So that's just to show you the car was overpriced. But then again, the fact that I had to work on my own schedule, which was what I was looking for, the freedom to be able to do the things that I want when I want, that allows me to work so hard. And I actually I was making double whatever the car was cost because I was making like $1,500 a week on the weekend because I was working 10, 12 hours a day
Right.
just to make sure that, I kept up everything. So,
No, that's awesome. That's funny because most of us are lazy. we're not lazy entrepreneurs because we're willing to work 12 hours a day and do whatever it takes, but we want to take the least, the easiest path. Like if you could, are you telling me you could just give me a car and then if I drive, I get paid enough to cover the car and make money? I'm in. Like, cause you don't have to pass an interview. You don't have to get a job. You don't have to, there's no uniform. There's no hour. Like, and we all love that. That's why we're entrepreneurs. So that's super cool, you guys.
it's funny you said that because I want to share this quote I read this morning, right?
All
It
right.
said that one millionaire was asked why he worked 12 to 14 hours a day. He answered, "It took me 15 years working for a large organization to realize that in our society, you work 8 hours a day for survival. And if you work only 8 hours a day, all you do is survive. Everything over 8 hours is an investment in your future. No one can do the minimum and reach his maximum potential." That that's what I read this morning.
No, that's great. And it's very true. But here's the coolest thing, folks. Everybody on this line, I love it. There are 73 amazing people on this line. And I cannot tell you guys and girls how much I appreciate you actually listening to me. I mean, especially after the Nationals. I mean, you're listening to the best of the best, 7-figure income earners and the top income earners in the company and Bob Snyder himself. And then you guys tune in to listen to me after listening to a guy like Michael yesterday. So I'm a very appreciative of anybody on this line. So thank you. But what's cool about what we do in Renatus, in addition to your job, if you have a job right now, your children, your families, is that the work is hours. Like there's time involved, but it's on your time and it's short little spurts. It's little mini races, little mini sprints. And when you go to a job and you have to drive there and then you're there all day and then, and then you have to go to lunch and you have a quick break and then you have to stay late sometimes. That's an all day. Like there's not a lot of things you can do in between. Now we don't want to get distracted as we do as new entrepreneurs. We have to learn that skill set. But at the same time, like my jobs take me, and I call them jobs, like my Renatus business is not fully leveraged yet. My my portfolio is pretty leveraged, but my fix and flip business is not as leveraged. I'm turning that around this year, but my jobs require me to work, maybe 60 hours a week, or I don't know, at least 50 hours a week. My wife tells me I work probably 100 hours a week, but at any given time at any given thing, I can just go do. Like I can walk, I go to the gym, for at least an hour to 2 hours a day, and I play tennis 3 times a week, and I play golf, and I walk my dogs a couple times a day, and I wash my cars when I want, right? And all these things happen, and my job still goes about. So it's not as burdensome when we're entrepreneurs. So this is awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Steve, for sharing. That was a great quote, and that was a great story, and I appreciate it. I'll give another opportunity. We've got enough time. I've got a few notes I want to talk to you guys about today. Does anybody have a question that potentially I could offer, or the gallery could offer, on nationals that needs clarification, or any thoughts or questions about nationals, or does anybody else have anything they want to say about the money matrix today? Does anybody else want to share? Because I don't want to leave you out. Nobody wants to brave it out today, Tuesday morning. Is it too chill? The sun's coming up, you guys. It might be a little warmer out there. Who wants to warm up the audience here? Anybody?
Good morning. Good
There we
morning.
go. Cinderell's gonna come out. All right, come on, girl.
Good morning. The Nationals was like a huge meal of like everything that you just want to digest and eat. And
This is
so
perfect.
I have so much internal to produce external from the Nationals. So it doesn't just like go over my head. So I'm really, doing the deep work for my origin story. And it really opened up a lot of other things for me that I realized were not holding me back, but kind of weighing me down. And I took the plunge and I got the epics. So I have that. And just the work in profits is really having me peel back, because I had my drives a totally different way. I realize my drives are different than what I originally took them, because I was still in my head about what is important versus what makes me feel important. And I realized that because I don't know, because I've been a mother and I've been a wife, and I've taken care of people so much that I put their needs first. So I'm just thinking I'm like relator all day long, but I really love lifestyle. I'm when I move everybody else's stuff out of the way, I can serve them better feeding my primary drive, which is director. So I'm becoming reacquainted with myself for who I was created to be. So that's what I have to share. I'm still digesting.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I got a couple things from that. I love this. Great share. And I agree. There's no question. And I think it's pretty common that people look at those drives, and sometimes it's not some people, maybe they just snap in and they get it right away. But it is one of those things where we need it instead of feel it. And so when you look at what you feel, what makes you feel better, then you can change your drive. So that's good that you reevaluate. We're always reevaluating as entrepreneurs, and always being willing to change, adapt, not hold on to whatever decision we made in the past, and make a new decision forward, right? So that is awesome. What I heard you say is this: I can't imagine there aren't too many people overwhelmed with nationals. In fact, my personality is that, oh my God, all of these things, I've got to do it all because I want to make 1,000 sales a day and all this stuff. One of the things, whatever you choose, and it sounds like you've evaluated and you chose to do your origin story and use that as your starting point. There's a lot of information in a lot of different ways to do the marketing and to enhance what you're doing and to improve your game and to up your sales and all of those things. And don't take my advice necessarily over anybody else's that you heard from this weekend. But whatever you choose, know that it is simple, I think, and that the 4 money-making activities, see the people, tell the story, build for events, and follow up, don't change. They may change how you do it online versus in person as much, but it's still the same. And I think the one thing that I got from everything is that the top income earners do exactly what every one of you is doing. They just do it more often. And what that means is they're having more conversations with people. In fact, Bob Snyder's, generally speaking, just a minute ago, talked about, the opportunity with 400 million people to have more conversations with people. He didn't say, right, to talk to more people about Renatus. So when you do that, your skill set refines. If you use funnels to talk to more people, great. If you use email to talk to more people, great. Whatever you choose, become an expert in that. And don't worry about all the other things that are out there. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be an expert appointment setter like Yaz, then use all of them and just do them. She's not an expert funnel maker. She's not an expert card dropper. She's not an expert Eventbrite person. She just does it all. And every once in a while, she gets a lead every single day from every single one, and then always follows up with all of them. And so I've got some questions. So that's perfect. All right, we got some talk. This is great. I saw what is up with the Steve Larson funnel training with Brunson, and where do we get on that? So with that, that is every Friday with the pack. I don't know what time that's at, to be honest with you. You're going to get, I'm guessing, since corporate was off, it is not this Friday. It's going to be next Friday. And that they haven't even sent out that email, and that everybody that was at National and had a ticket, not at Nationals, but actually had a ticket to go to Nationals, will get that invitation and will be able to attend those events. And I'm guessing it might be live streamed through Helios to some extent, or there may be a Zoom link. Okay, that's my guess on what that is. I'll tell you this. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about things I can't control. And what I mean by that is I have no idea. I cannot, when it comes time to me to get on that call, the universe will bring it to me. Somebody will get me an email. Somebody will reach out to me. I'll hear about it on a call like this. Michael Huggins will probably be in the know, and he'll let us know. Does that make sense? In the meantime, if I were to try to spend time worrying about a call 2 weeks from now, it takes time away from me doing whatever it is I'm doing. So I don't want to be reactive. I'm not telling you to do that, but at the same time, worry about the things that are most important to you now. You don't have to do what I do, but you know what I'm saying? Try not to worry about the things we can't control as much. And those things will come to us when it's time. And then when it is time for you to control it and things aren't going your way, or you haven't gotten the information and it's going to be tomorrow, then we could go after and call customer service and find out, reach out to a team member or a 5-star, and they will be able to tell you, and you'll get you the information instantly when it's due time. Okay. But yeah, I think for you, Jeff, it's going to be next Friday. We'll get an email on. We also need to look at what skills we have received from whatever our jobs or professions. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. And if you guys, this is great, Nina. When I was a pro skier and I got it, I naturally parlayed into Played Against Sports, and owning that franchise. I liked the idea of what's the word of Played Against Sports and being an entrepreneur, but it was easy transition to me because I had played sports my whole life. So those skills that I had as a new entrepreneur there came from that as exactly well. So you're right, using your other jobs, transferring into your entrepreneurialism. And I'll tell you, when I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was digging that ditch in Colorado, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get a job and make a life of myself. This is ridiculous. My first real job was in sales in Vail, and I got a job at inside sales for advertising at the paper, at the Vail Daily. The reason I did that is because the qualification was very low. All I had to do was speak and do. it was a least resistant path for a job that had some good income if I did my damn job, right? It was a sales job, so there was some commission involved and I can control it. So it wasn't, there was no skill set. I didn't have to like have some nice resume and all that crap that I'm just not good at. And so it was the least resistance. When it got to play it against sports, I could have started my own little sporting goods store in Vail. I could have, started a ski shop or whatever. I easily had the skill set to do that. But what did that entail? Borrowing money, getting a loan, finding a place, like things that were so far over my head at 28 years old. I was like, I didn't even consider it. But owning a store, by just putting in 15 grand and running our new store that my two partners wanted to do. And they offered me the opportunity to do it with them because I had worked with them at Play It Again Sports before, was like a no-brainer. It was an easy in for me to get into my own store. And I took the less resistance, and I was a 3% owner back then. I mean, it was nothing. I barely had a bonus every month. But it was easy, less pass. So that's great, Nina. You're exactly right. I want to come out, by not having great service. I just want to say that I had 17 years in the military, and it does help a lot to be more methodical and focused. We worked well under pressure. Nicholas, first of all, on behalf of everybody on this call, I guarantee we are all thanking you very much for your service and continue to thank you and appreciate the freedoms you've allowed us to have. There's no question about that. I was afraid of the military. That's why I didn't join. I tell you what, the thought when I was thinking that I don't know what it is, selfish. The thought of going and having someone tell me when to get up and everything, and I was afraid I'd fail, probably, to be honest with you, and afraid of I would get my butt kicked every single day by somebody for not obeying them, and so that's probably why I didn't enlist. All my friends from high school enlisted, so thank you. But I would agree with you that there is nothing. My dad is my hero, folks, and he went to a Catholic school. He went to Notre Dame when it was men. He then was an officer in the Army, ROTC, and his life is phenomenally successful based on that regiment. And he is an absolute intellectual, and he is absolutely on time and absolutely structured, and it was perfect for him. And he sometimes, I talk to my dad probably twice a week, usually on the weekends. He's pretty busy. To this day, he's 77. He works probably 14 hours a day. I think he goes to work at 6 and gets back at 6. And then when my mom goes to bed, he works more. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm going to do some evaluations of my staff. Like it's freaking 10 o'clock there. It's like, yeah, I got to get this done. It's pretty funny. All right. So anyway, I totally agree, and I appreciate it, Nicholas. This is cool. So it's even more impressive to me that anybody that didn't serve. I love your guys' shares, so this is awesome. I can strongly attribute to the guidance of how this business and company. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and Bob, I don't believe served in the military either, and he's able to put this whole thing together. They did say that there is no funnel training this Friday. Okay, we got that. It's not out yet, as mentioned. Okay, you guys are talking. Thanks for all your feedback. Okay, so I'm going to share this with y'all. I was thinking about this today. I want you guys to know, like, I was talking last night to my team, and one of the things that you've heard me say is, with all the new opportunities that Nationals is going to bring us, this is super cool, is that you want to have confidence and feel like the Zoom and the online stuff, and then the phone. Like, I don't know where you're at in your Renatus business. For me, getting on the phone with somebody, having a Zoom call with somebody is just something I did. It was just something not necessarily natural, but it was just something that had to be done, and I had some experience. But it brings me to a story when I enrolled in 2016. I was already 5-starred when I started up. I started back up in like April of 2016, and I have been gone from Renatus, as you guys, as most of you know, not all of you. I was gone from Renatus from 2011 from when the onset of the company, almost after the first 3 months. I left in March of 2011, kind of against my will, but that's a whole nother story. But I kept paying my 125 every year for my 5-star status. So, but I literally was gone for over 5 years, and I came back and I was 5-star, and I went to the meetings, and Gary was there, and they were live meetings. And I decided that I was going to do some marketing, and I started putting ads on Craigslist, and people were coming. And I remember my first combo, and we had the old system, the old business center, which was new to me based on the fact that we didn't have a business center in 2000, I don't know, 10 or whatever. I don't even remember how we placed orders back then, to be honest with you. We definitely had an online system, but I don't remember how it was done. So I remember after taking this guy to a couple of events, for his first event, him and his wife was one of my property tours that caught fire on April Fool's Day. That was an interesting property tour the Saturday after that. Keely, were you there for that?
I had joined just after that. I believe that was in like 2015, maybe, because I remember
16.
hearing about that right after I got started.
Yeah, 2016. It's like April Fool's Day, April 1st of 2016.
And I got started in April, the late April of 2016.
Got it. So that was their first event. And so long story short is, I remember when it was time to enroll them, and they had gone to a couple events. His wife had come to an event and they were in, and he's like, well, yeah, you could just come to my house. Folks, I was so nervous and had no idea what I was doing. And I drove out there, which was an hour, like a 30, 40-minute drive. And I get to their house, and I had to, do the pleasantries, the social pleasantries. And then I had to have my laptop. I had to have internet, and I had to pull it up, and I had to ask for the sale, and I had to talk about where they were going to get their money from. And we'd kind of talked about that a little bit, before, obviously on some of on a couple of occasions, and they were going to use their 401k, but they had to roll the money over. And folks, I was nervous. I was so scared and so nervous, if I remember correctly, that I didn't want to screw it up. I didn't want to mess up the order in the system. I didn't want to, my point is that all of us go through this. And the more that you do it, now, obviously, the more you place the orders, that's even better. But the more that you have conversations with people, it won't matter. Like, if somebody's not interested, I got a text yesterday. So I did some pretty significant marketing yesterday. I funded a full Epics combo to a new student on Sunday night. And then I had a guy I reached out to had already had the video, and I reached out to him. And he's a flipper. He's a current investor, and he's doing well in today's market. And he texted me back and said, no, he's like, I'm not the guy for this. He's like, you got the wrong guy. You're probably going to kill it, make a bunch of sales and make a bunch of money selling this, but thanks, but no thanks, or something like that. I was like, oh my God. And he's kind of a 3-foot rule friend now. He's kind of like a colleague, because I've known him for a good couple of months. And then I finally sent him this video. So naturally I'm nervous. I feel bad. But my point is that then I turned as soon as he said the text, I was on to the next text. Like I sent before I even sent a quick reply, I thought about it for a little while, and I came back to it. But in the meantime, I was Facebooking with somebody this weekend during nationals. She had reached out to me through a friend. She follows me through a friend. So it's a 3-foot rule common person on Facebook. And she's like, oh, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. So I started having text conversations with her, went from message to text, because I like text. I can take everywhere. I mean, obviously Messenger, if you're comfortable there, that's nothing wrong with that. But I like the text. And then I asked her the question and finally got to it. And then I called her yesterday, and then I sent her the video, and she's ecstatic. Like, she's so excited. She can't wait. She totally understands investing in education. It was an absolutely amazing conversation. And then she actually watched the whole video, my whole recording, which was like an hour and 45 minutes on March 9th. And the epic presentation we did. And I have a follow-up with her today. And I already know that and using Dane's training from this weekend, I know that she has been thinking about a line of credit, but was didn't want to refi her house. So she didn't even have the knowledge, and she's getting her real estate license, didn't have the knowledge for understanding people. They do not understand lines of credit. So she was thinking she was going to have to refi to do that. Number two is she has a 401k that she didn't know she could borrow from, but they have a significant 401k, and her husband has really good credit and she has good credit. So I already identified three normal major sources for her, what she was going to do to invest in real estate, that she can also invest in her education, all through this. And so the fact that Bajan had sent me this, not so nice text, it was a nice text, it just was a rejection text, didn't matter to me. It bounced right off, and I went right on to the other three other people that were ecstatic. My tennis pro cannot wait. I had no idea he was looking to get his license, but because I had a conversation with him about investing in real estate, I found out he was actually starting to get his license, and he's 100% in to try to find out about learning how to invest in real estate. Okay, so the way to make this easier, folks, is this. Your confidence and your ability to have conversations with people and trust in what you're selling and trust in what you're doing and believe in what you're doing is spend more time in the education. Somebody mentioned yesterday about Brian Sump studying the short sales class 9 times. I studied it 6 times. Gavin McCaleb was my short sales instructor. Bob Snyder's negotiations class used to be on a CD, and I listened to that CD, that particular class, about 11 times. In fact, I was so obsessed with negotiating that I remember broke off my ass going into Walmart and buying stuff for our house, and my wife leaving the Walmart because I'm literally at the Walmart teller, negotiating with the teller. This is like I don't even know what they get paid. They probably get paid better than most people, $15 an hour now. But at the time, 2008 or 9, I'm negotiating if I can get 20% off some of my items in my cart. And sure enough, they brought over a manager and they're giving me discounts at Walmart. I didn't even want the discount. I just want to see if I can get it. Then if you look at like the wholesaling class with Chris Wilson, I wasn't even a wholesaler. I knew I was going to be a fix and flipper. So yeah, Jeff just said he's been through the whole class four times, because that is the basis of all real estate, is getting what properties under value and talking and converting sellers. Converting sellers is huge. So my point is you're going to become an expert, number one, but number two is you're going to have so much confidence in the quality of our education, the quality of our speakers, the quality of our instructors. You're going to relate with them. Like, they're going to become friends of yours by watching these classes so much. And then if you go a little further, you could email these guys and girls. You could reach out to them and have a conversation with them. Many of us do. And even if you're not in a deal, or you could get on some of the coaching calls with Gavin. All I'm saying is spend a little bit more time in your product. If you spent time on a $20,000 car or a $40,000, $50,000 car, driving the car, if you buy a new car, like I just bought Sherry a 2021 BMW. If you guys know that, I saw that on Facebook. The feature, I get in the car, I can't even start the damn thing. There's so many features in it. I'm like, I can't figure out if it's coming or going. And I'm like, am I in reverse or park? It shuts off on its own. It say, hi, Bill, how you doing? I'm like, how do you know? I'm like looking around, who's talking to me? So if I'm not familiar, how could I sell Keely the car I've never been in? Does that make sense? I'd be like, oh, you should drive the BMW. She's like, you ever driven it? Nope, never driven it, but it turns on and off on its own. I'm like, you know what I mean? She's like, that doesn't sound like fun. So get to know your vehicle that you're driving, like understand it, live it, breathe it. I'm not saying 6 hours a day like I would do, but study the education, and your conversations with people will be amazing. And keep it simple. Start from the scratch and figure out one or two or three of the things you're going to eventually, and I'm going to go now, you're going to eventually get to everything in nationals, and you will take advantage of it all. You've got notes. It was there for you, but you do not need to do everything today based on the nationals and change anything you're doing. Figure out a couple of the nationals trainings that you love, that resonated with you, whether it was Woody or Steve or one of the 5 stars. Scott Rowe did amazing. All the guys did it. Bob Snyder, put it together, use 1 or 2 of those, and then go to the basics and just become a better conversationalist based on something that's in your heart. All right. Didn't even care about a discount. You guys are awesome. It's so funny. I'll tell you, yeah, you're welcome. I'll leave you with this. My friend Keo, her very first sale, I didn't talk to her for 2 months after she signed up. I mean, I talked to her a little bit, but nothing major. Didn't see her at an event. And she enrolled her first Epics combo or extreme combo within 2 months of being an entrepreneur, being part of Renatus, based on the education and talking about the education to her friend Lee. And I reminded Lee about that last night because Lee hates the Zoom. He doesn't feel connected. He's a relator. He's been in the entertainment business for 25, 30 years. And this has been a block for him. And the thing is that is a real thing. Whatever our excuse is, it's real. However, if we want to overcome that excuse, I reminded him and said, Lee, she just was telling you how excited she was about the education. If you want to have that conversation and feel confident and be able to be in front of somebody over the phone or on the internet, get into your classes. And he's like, you know what, Bill, I haven't watched a class. He's doing some real estate. He's out busting some flips up and some long-term, short-term rentals up in Globe. And he hasn't looked at a class in almost a year. All right. The classes are huge. All right, everybody. That was it. I got 8:03. We got a great dream call coming up next. Jump on that. Thanks everybody for your participation, for your love comments, for your love to be here and for being here. Over 70 of you. I can't appreciate your time more than I do. Thank you. Keely, as always, I love you, girl. You're the best. Thanks to everybody on this line for your service and for helping us get through this next, I don't know, whatever America's faced with. So, all right, be safe. Love you guys. See you on Dane's Call tomorrow. All right, thanks, Steve, for your contribution. Bobby G, love you, girl. What's up, buddy? Woo! All right, man. See you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. You're awesome.
You're welcome, sir. Thanks, Doug. Bye, you guys.
Love you, Bill. Good job.
Thank you.